interesting note from CLSA this morning, and it's about urban consumption. And well, we've all known, a lot of us have also tracked as to what's happened with the Coldplay concert, where literally no one I know has managed to score any tickets at all as far as Coldplay is concerned. I know one person in the newsroom who has, in fact. But, this particular note highlights key trends and the way urban consumption has been changing. And for that, I have Mahima who's joining us to give us more details. Mahima, over to you.
Right. So CLSA has come out with a very interesting note that tells us about how urban consumption trends are taking place, and what they're saying is that Zomato is the best way to play this theme. Now we all saw that how Coldplay tickets got sold out in minutes, and there were there was a queue of roughly 1 lakh people who were ahead for a ticket queue, which had a price band of roughly $50 to 400. Now in terms of Diljit's concert also, the tickets were around 2,50,000 tickets were sold out, and this was priced at roughly $90. So interesting things happening in that space. In fact, the same thing happened with Dua Lipa concert as well as Bryan Adams concert as well. Now all of these 4 concerts combined saw ticket sales of over 3.5 billion to 4 billion rupees, and this is over 40% of incremental quarterly sales for QSR. So what they're saying is that consumption of older consumer companies might be a misleading indicator when we try to track trends in the urban consumption space. Also, what they've said is that events, traveling, eating out, luxury and premium goods, cosmetics, consumer appliances are emerging trends and are the areas that are preferred by today's youth. And what they're also saying is that QSR is struggling, but Zomato and Swiggy food delivery is clearly chugging along. Now, if you see the gross order value for Zomato in the delivery business, which is a smaller part as compared to the delivery business, however, it did see an uptick of 25%, which is, whereas QSRs have been showing growth trends in just single digits. In terms of Zomato's dine-out business also, it did see a significant uptick, and this was more than double as compared to Q1 FY24. Now, in terms of data points from companies like Nykaa, Make My Trip and Trend also suggest that consumption remains different from past, where FMCG and QSRs were seen as bellwethers. Now, in Q1 FY25, Nykaa saw beauty GMV growth of roughly 28%, Make My Trip saw 29% growth, and Trend saw like-for-like growth of 22%, which is much faster than growth of QSRs, which is around 8%. So lastly, what they're saying is that trends in terms of consumption when it comes to the urban population are very different, and overall FMCG and QSRs cannot be the indicators for this, and Zomato is very well placed to tap this increasing demand for consumer experiences, and of course they have maintained the target price of 353 overall.
Okay, Mahima, thank you so much for getting us all those updates with respect to CLSA's view on urban consumption going forward. Now, Shamila, there are 2 things here. First is quick commerce, so it includes names like Zomato. On the other hand, this also involves perhaps names which are in the QSR space. So you have something like, Devyani International, or for that matter, Jubilant Foodworks, Westlife, for that matter. How are you looking at things here? What's the way forward? Zomato specifically, we also know, has just very recently bought over the ticketing business of Paytm as well. So a very interestingly poised, even though many consider that acquisition as an expensive one. Your view?
So, I completely agree with the note and the premise that urban consumption patterns are different. I think all of us are witnessing that, and especially in a post-COVID world, we have seen, first we started with revenge travel, and now there seems to be sort of a revenge consumption where people are out there buying things, whether it's clothes, jewelry, etc. I think the only thing that I want to really differ on is the fact that just because, since it's such an attractive business to be in, I think the disruptions will also happen a lot faster than any of us can imagine. So I think you need to definitely not lose sight of valuations and numbers, because at the end of the day, share price will move, whether you like it or not, in accordance with that. We have already seen how some of these stocks suffered when the trend seemed to turn against them. I do like Zomato. I do like the fact that they've acquired Blinkit, because Blinkit is doing good business for them. Now this recent acquisition again has put a little bit of worry. But overall, I think right now they're in a good space. All I would say is, don't get carried away and always keep the valuations in sight.
All right, well, there you have it. That's the view coming in, well, on Zomato specifically as well.